what she said. She's magical, mystical, a powerful wonder girl.
And we are back with our brand new relationship expert, Tara Antler. We are so excited to have you joining us. You're going to be here every couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you so much.
Okay, now if anybody has any questions that they would like to address to Tara, you can just email us at info@whatshesaidtalk.com. We'll pass them away and maybe we can answer your questions in the privacy of the radio.
Love that. I love that.
Now, today you're going to tell us about some key differences between men and women, and we're not talking about the physical ones.
Yeah, no, there are some physical ones for sure. But, there are some real tangible differences between men and women and how we deal with life, how we see life, how we perceive life. And especially in today's world, things have changed altogether. Women have stepped into this role of superhero women, strong, independent, courageous, doing so much more than what we used to, which is awesome. It's leveled things out a little bit. But men, they've been having this interesting time figuring out what their role is, because back in the old days, they knew what their role was. Women knew what their role was, and all of that has blown apart and changed. And so men are trying to figure out, what am I supposed to do if she doesn't need me anymore and she's independent and she can do all these things? She's a multitasker. I don't know how to be the man. That's a big question that a lot of men are coming up against now. I don't know how to be that man.
That prehistoric, I take care of the family kind of man?
Absolutely, because it's still a biological thing within us. In order for men's testosterone to rise, which they need in order to feel strong, to feel capable, to feel good about themselves, it actually lets them, just like we have happy hormones and endorphins that rush, we have happy hormones rush when we feel taken care of, when we feel nurtured, when we go to the spa,
Safe.
when we pamper ourselves. The oxytocin levels rise, the stress levels decrease, estrogen rises, we all feel good and balanced and awesome and harmonious. Men, it's different. They actually need testosterone to rise. And one of the greatest ways, when I interviewed John Gray, actually, he said to me when we first started the call, he's like, I have to tell you, he said, you did one of the best things that you could do for a man. And I said, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't even realize I did anything. He said, you complimented me on my book and you told me that it's a key thing that you've had for 15 years.
This is the author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Best book ever,
It's
I think.
amazing. And he said it was like a pat on his back to let him feel like, oh, I feel really good. I was able to help this woman. And all of a sudden his testosterone levels went up and he felt like he was accomplished. Right?
Well, let's talk about some of the traditional differences. Let's say if there's any kind of conflict. Men have a tendency, as I understand it, to retreat. Women want to talk it out.
Yes.
So how does that play out?
Yeah, it's disastrous when it comes to men and women trying to figure it out, because the man comes home usually or coming from wherever they are, and they just need some chill time. They need to relax. They need to put their feet up. They don't want to be talked to. And right away, women are like, oh my God, I got to tell you about my day. Or if something happened, we're like, and they're like, whoa. Like, I can't take any more in. And it's confusing because the woman needs to be heard. And when they feel heard and when they feel like they've connected eye to eye, energy to energy, heart to heart, they feel good. They feel welcome. They feel warmed. They melt. They become their feminine self, which allows the sex life to be even better within the relationship too, because they feel more their feminine self. But when that's not happening, they're like, what is going on here? This person doesn't care about what I'm doing, what I'm up to. They don't want to hear anything.
I heard you talking about this on one of your Facebook Lives, and I thought my first reaction was, well, screw that. Like if he comes home, it's like I'm making dinner or whatever. I want him to keep me company in the kitchen, but I thought I'll try it. I'll try it. So he has a tendency to go upstairs, have a puff of a cigar out on the balcony, and then have a quick nap, which he does for like 15, 20 minutes. And I just let him. I said, hi, you're home. And I let him do that. Let him go through that. He's much more sociable in the evening.
Absolutely.
When I was really surprised at that difference about not bombarding him. And then I say, are you ready to hear about my day? And he's like, sure, let it go.
Yes.
But that seems to be, and it seems, whereas I said my first instinct was to say, like really? I need somebody to talk to. I've had the dog and the cat all day. But that little 15-minute space makes a huge difference.
It does, because they need to process. Men process differently than women. We're great multitaskers. We can take in much more information in one go. It's how our brains are hardwired. It's partly to do with pregnancy and being able to manage everything. And we can do that and still function. For men, it's a little bit more focused. They need that time to go within and just relax and decompress quietly. And when their mind starts, and it's like they think that we're like chatter, 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 chatter. And they're like, oh my God, can you just simplify this? Can you just be quiet for a second? I need my own time. They actually need that to decompress, to let go of whatever their day was. And then they can present themselves very clear and free to you and be present to you. So part of it for women is not taking it personally. We take it personally all the time. We're like, oh, he doesn't want to listen to me. He doesn't care about what I'm saying, you know? And it's not that at all.
The other thing I've noticed, the big difference between men and women is if I have an issue and I can call a girlfriend and I can just vent.
Yep.
And she knows that I'm not calling her to solve
That's
the
right.
problem. I'm going to talk to her and I might talk to a couple of other people and I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I just need to vent. I need to hear my thoughts bouncing off
That's
somebody.
right.
If you tell a man about something, they
go into solution right away.
They go, it's like they are solving the problem. It's like, no, I can solve the problem.
Exactly.
Just listen to me. They're incapable of doing that.
Yeah.
If you bring them a problem, this is what you need to do. I don't want to hear about it anymore because this is what you need to do.
Because it's so matter of fact for them. They see it in such precision and clarity, which is actually a gift on one level. Because when we are kind of stuck, because sometimes we do get stuck where we're like, I really don't know how to get myself out of this. Then I know now that's the time that I go and talk to my husband. If I need that quick solution, like what you're talking about, that's when I go to my husband and I'm like, I need some help with this. Can you? And he's just like, cut through the clutter. And you're like, thank you.
But I think a lot of women feel you don't want to listen to me.
That's
You don't
right.
want to listen to the whole stage. All you want to do is cut through it. Give me the solution so you can get me out of the way.
That's right.
And so I think women are a
Yeah.
little bit offended by that sometimes.
Yeah, and that's where they have to not take it personally. And if you
Exactly.
give them that space, and like you said, I love that you brought up the fact of talking to your girlfriends. Know who to talk to. Your girlfriends will support you and they'll get it. And women, they get it. They're like, I understand what you're going through.
What about the difference? Another difference I find between men and women in couples are mind reading versus asking. My husband says, give me a list and I'll do it. But then it's like, then I'm becoming a nag.
Right.
And I don't want to be a nag. I just want you to know that has to be done. So how do we play that out?
Yeah, it's very different. And I can tell by the pregnancy difference. When I was pregnant with Aria, my intuition went up a whole other octave. This pregnancy, having 2 boys in here, like it's different. Like it's completely different. And I thought, this is how they perceive. This is their intuition. And so they often don't know because they are in solution mode a lot and they're trying not to take in too much. They're trying to stay focused on one task at hand, complete. Next task at hand, complete. Next task at hand, complete. That's how their mind works. But if they get bombarded or they're trying to figure out and read what we need, they're going to feel like they're failing. And they don't want to do that because they know what happens. If they feel like they're failing, we're going to nag and we're going to be even more peeved at them because then all of a sudden they're doing something wrong and they're afraid to be wrong. So it's best to just go, I don't know. Tell me what you need. And women actually need to get better at saying and communicating what they need from their partner.
Well, yeah, but then that ends up on the nag list. Maybe you just write it out on a list and put it
you write it out on a list.
The job jar.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd like to do a whole segment on that actually about the nagging because it's a really big thing that comes up between men and women all the time. So it is making a list, but clearly. And if they go and do something and they don't do it as perfectly as you have to be willing to let go of control a little bit. I give this example to my clients all the time. There are like 50 ways to make an egg. I don't know, maybe 30. But you have to be willing to let go a little bit and to still acknowledge. Because if you criticize what they really worked hard on doing, they flatline.
Is that called being the maternal gatekeeper? Is that
Yes.
something like that? So there's just nobody else will do it as well as me. So
That's right. So I
you're
better
asking
just
for
do
the
it.
help. You're asking for the help, but then you're criticizing
That's right.
the way they did it. It's
Yeah.
just say thank you. That was
Yeah.
great.
Exactly. And they need that and they feel good. And they're like, oh, I accomplished that. And then they feel more likely to want to do the next item on the list.
Well, I had a husband who perfected that. Do it badly, she'll never ask you.
Okay, Tara, tell people how they can connect with you online.
The best way is through my website, taraantler.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well.
All right, now you are going to be joining us again in 2 weeks, and we'll continue this little relationship series. So if you've got anything you'd like Tara to help you solve, you can nag us and put it on a list. Just send it to info@whatshesaidtalk.com, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Well, she said she's magical, mystical, a powerful wonder